Welcome to Ruby Thursday. I'm Melissa Wanish. This is Ruby snack number 63, Scheduled Tasks, Building the Task. This is going to be a series where we look at rake tasks. In this episode, you'll learn how to write a test for a task and create a task that starts a background job. If you want to code along, you can clone the Ruby Thursday example app with this branch, which is the last episode where we worked on the Ruby Thursday app. You would git clone -b Ruby snack number 58, single branch, and there's the repository. You would cd into Ruby Thursday, bundle, and then Rails db create, db migrate. So why rake tasks anyway? Well, rake tasks are used for maintenance, data migration, and other actions that occur on a regular basis. A few examples are to clean out temporary files, clean out database tables for keeping temporary info like popular posts of the week or something like that, and then to send regular emails like newsletters. Here are a few tips for good rake tasks. Keep the tasks short and easy to read. Move any long logic to a service object or a background job. Certainly have the task start a background job if the task will take a long time to preserve server memory. Something maybe over a minute. Many of these types of tasks take a few minutes, so that's why we're going to put together a background job. Go ahead and include a log and output so that you know that it's working. All right, let's get to the code. Let's first write our newsletter task test. We're going to create a newsletter that's called From the Bridge, as our theme for the Ruby Thursday app is Star Trek. Before we run the test, we're going to clear out any active jobs, and then we're going to test to make sure it schedules a background job to perform soon. Now I have this language, and I'll show you why in just a moment, subject.execute, and then we'll expect that there will be one job in the in-queued jobs. Through the series, we'll add more expectations as we build that job. Opening up our text editor, let's go to our spec folder. We don't have a lib folder right now, so let's make one. And then we will create inside of there a tasks folder. So we can keep all our specs for tasks in there. Now we need a new file. And we'll call this the newsletter taskspec.rb. Now I will copy in the spec we already wrote. Of course, we need to test it out, so I'm running it. And here we are with an error, undefined method in queued jobs. To fix that, we need to add a configuration to our testing environment. We need to add that the config for active job queue adapter is test. And now it has access to that method. Back in the editor, let's go to config, environments, test, and we'll add it right up there at the top and save. Now let's run the spec again and see where we are. And now it says undefined method execute. So rake tasks can be a little tricky to test. Someone made a gem that includes a lot of helper methods to make it easier. It's called Fantaskspec. So let's go ahead and add that to our gem file. And then we need to add to the Rails helper, Rails application load tasks. And then I'm going to add a global setting for the config to infer rake task specs from the file location. So let's add that gem right there in development test or test, however you have that organized. And then bundle it up. And I'm going to add to our Rails helper that we will load the tasks. And now we will add the configuration to infer where to find those tasks. Now let's go ahead and generate our task. And Rails does have a generator for this. It only creates the task, none of the testing things, so that's why we added that first. You simply call Rails G task, the namespace, and then the task. We may have more newsletters coming up, so that's why we called it newsletters, and then the task is the newsletter name from the bridge. In our console, let's run that generator. And you can see it just makes one file in the lib tasks. Now we'll write the task. We're going to have a namespace of newsletters and then a description. It's always good to have that for your test. Send weekly newsletter from the captain. And then the task from the bridge, environment. It has to load the environment in order to run these tasks. And we're going to have a job, send from the bridge newsletter, job, and we'll perform it later. So you see here that it gave us some templating information just to get us started. Let's go ahead and put in what we wrote. And now let's run our spec again and see where we are. And it says that it can't find that job name because we haven't made it yet. So now let's use the Rails generator again to generate a job. And this time it will create all of those files, the job and all the testing files. Let's go ahead and run that generator. And as you can see, it created the spec as well as the jobs file. So now let's run our spec again, now that we've created the job. And it passes. As I mentioned, in the next episodes, we'll be working on the job so that there will be something to output so that we can test that in our task test. I have here a link to a blog post where the creator of Fantaskspec explains a few more configurations and a few more options. That's it for this episode of Ruby Thursday. If you are not already on my mailing list, head on over to rubythursday.com to sign on up and check out older episodes if you're new. If you are not subscribed on YouTube, you can click that big ruby there to subscribe. And here are some other videos that you might be interested in. YouTube subscribers get the episodes just a little bit before everyone else. If you have any comments or questions, it's best to leave those on YouTube. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you soon.